This is Pheonix dactylifera, a beautiful palm species. Unfortunately, builders on the lot behind said that this fence was 15 feet on their side, and unfortunately, this palm tree fell into the 15-foot setback. So the customer wanted to know if we can move it. Well, of course we can. I've moved tons of these palms. In fact, there's several videos on my channel of me moving palm trees, and through my experience, we've had quite a good success rate. The first step was to dig a trench or a moat, try to free up as many of these roots as possible. Then you're going to need something like a machine. We used our skid steer, and we've used our loader truck in other situations. Something with enough strength to lift this up. Now a palm tree like this probably weighs around 1,000 pounds, so this isn't something you can do with even a dolly. You can see the severity of the land clearing behind, right there. It's really a shame seeing more construction coming in and less of these trees being preserved, just clear cut and stripped from the land. But next step is to go ahead and prep a hole. Get the hole dug deep enough to where you can dig it to the same depth that the other tree was. That's the easy part. The hard part is trying to get this tree out of the ground. After prying on this tree for what seemed like hours, probably just like 10 minutes, the tree started to wiggle free, and we were able to get it out of the ground. Now, you want to be extra careful not to damage any of the trunk tissue when you do this, so luckily for us, the grapple was wide enough to straddle the trunk of this tree. Like I said, it's pretty difficult to even get this tree out of the ground, but once it's free, I agree, Mike. That is cause for celebration, isn't it? Now, we do want to be extra careful when actually placing this tree into the hole. We want to be sure that we get it centered in the hole, that way we can cover all the roots possible. Now, these trees are going to lose a lot of roots in the process, so adequate water is definitely a key step here. Cover all the roots, being sure that you're not burying it too deep and burying part of the trunk tissue. This can lead to what's called butt rot and promote harmful fungus and bacteria that will lead to the demise of the tree. Water in the roots as you go will help fill in the voids and air pockets to be sure that all of the roots are covered. Failure to do this will lead to the roots drying out and dying eventually. After a tree losing so many roots, you want to try to preserve as many as possible. Now, you want to create a berm, and that berm will help pool water right around the trunk and root tissue. That way, the roots will stay moist, and the tree will get all of the water that you're trying to give it, allowing the water to percolate through the soil and stay around the roots, not all through the yard. Pheonix palms and Sable palms act a little different when transplanting. I do recommend removing some of the fronds. That should help reduce transpiration. This is the final project after the berm was completed and the tree was watered in. Now, if you're going to remove a lot of the fronds, I recommend moving even up to 2/3 of the fronds, leaving just a small tassel at the top. That should really help the tree generate more roots and still allowing it to undergo photosynthesis, which is a key process a tree needs. Now, Sable palms, it's often recommended you remove all the fronds because they don't generally use those same roots again. They regenerate roots from the base of the trunk and don't actually branch roots off of the existing roots. So be sure you like this video. This is just a little example of what I was talking about with how they just clear cut land nowadays. It's truly tragic. We're out here on the homestead trying to get off the system and the grid and doing everything we can to become as independent as possible. So every subscription really helps. The funding from this will help us build our homestead, and I love sharing my videos with y'all, so be sure you comment in the videos and maybe even make requests for future videos. Thanks again. Hopefully we'll see you in the Best Gardens DIY. A few more loquats. Chickens eat loquats.